Could we get an in-depth look at the Denver Broncos this training camp? What's going on, Broncos country? Gage Madrid here, Denver Broncos Syndicate. Sorry about the lack of content over the last couple of days. I've been dealing with some family matters out of state. I'm currently recording this from my hotel room in New Mexico. So, the Denver Broncos are one of 3 teams this season who could be forced to appear on the popular HBO show Hard Knocks. If we come over here and take a look at this tweet from Ari Mirov, it says 3 teams could be forced to do it next season if no teams volunteer, which I don't think a team has volunteered to do it since the Dallas Cowboys a few years ago, because Jerry Jones is obviously going to want to promote his brand. The Chicago Bears, the Denver Broncos, and the New Orleans Saints. Teams with a first-year head coach are not eligible to appear on Hard Knocks. The Denver Broncos last year would have probably been much must-see TV, but since Sean Payton is technically considered a first-year coach since it was his year 1 in Denver, he was not eligible to appear on Hard Knocks with the Denver Broncos. This year's different, however. The Broncos could be forced to appear, and right now, I think that there are 3 teams, probably in the order that Ari listed them, honestly. The Bears, the Broncos, and the Saints, who could draw a lot of interest from fans depending on what direction those teams go this offseason. Personally, I don't think the New Orleans Saints are going to be very appealing to a lot of fans. They're kind of running back another year of the mediocre duo of Derek Carr and Dennis Allen. There's not really a whole lot of appealing things about the New Orleans Saints to appear on Hard Knocks, in my opinion. Sure, it would be fun to get Cam Jordan on Hard Knocks and a couple of the other guys there in New Orleans, but I think the Chicago Bears, especially considering if they do indeed pick number 1 overall, if they don't trade away that pick, they could be taking Caleb Williams. I actually saw a report today that the Chicago Bears are interviewing Cliff Kingsbury, who was Williams' offensive coordinator at USC last year, for their offensive coordinator position. So that's something to keep an eye on there for sure. Maybe Caleb Williams could be must-see TV there in Chicagoland. But then there's the Denver Broncos, who do have a lot of question marks entering this offseason period, most notably who's going to be their starting quarterback in 2024. But Sean Payton, regardless, would be must-see TV for a lot of fans out there, and the likelihood is quite up there that the Denver Broncos will have a young rookie quarterback at least waiting in the wings in 2024. We may have a veteran stopgap in there in his place. Maybe it's Jarrett Stidham, maybe it's somebody like Jameis Winston, who would also be must-see TV on Hard Knocks. So I think the Denver Broncos are in very, very strong contention to be forced to appear on Hard Knocks this year. The only caveat is if the Chicago Bears do indeed pick number 1 overall and do most likely take Caleb Williams. If that's the case, the Bears might be a little bit more appealing television, but the fact that Benjamin Albright, who's very connected with the team, tweeted this out, I don't think that's a coincidence, Broncos country. I really don't. I think that the Denver Broncos have a very strong chance to be forced to appear on Hard Knocks in 2024.